if we look past, we look at life as there's the out there and there's an in here. And there really is no out there and in here. It's all just one. And whatever we focus on is what appears. And we're getting a little bit into quantum physics. When I was younger, Bill, I really just went after the money. And I think I went after the money just because of the insecurity that I felt growing up. And so I wanted to make sure that I never felt that, those screams and the anger that was in my household. But then I ended up, as I mentioned, with ulcerative colitis when I was 21. I ended up getting my first divorce late in my 20s and my second divorce in my mid-30s. And I said, geez, what am I doing wrong? And I really wasn't doing anything wrong. I just wasn't applying some of the principles that I was learning. And so I think the key for me, and, when I wrote my book, The Street Kid's Guide to Having It All, I really focused on, is it possible to have a healthy, balanced life? Is it possible not to work 18 hours a day, but to work effectively maybe 8 or 10 or 12? Is it possible to stay in good shape mentally and physically? And the answer is yes. And what I realized was that it was my beliefs that was driving my behaviors. And so I believed before that in order for me to be successful, in order for me to do well and to fulfill one of my values, which was to be a great father to my children, I had to work really hard to make a lot of money. And the answer was, yeah, you had to work hard, but if I worked smart and was really efficient when I was working, I wouldn't have to put in the long hours I thought were needed in order to get the results. And so I had to change my belief system about what was possible to achieve in a day, in a week, in a month, and I had to change my belief on whether having it all was possible. And with that, I'd like to just suggest one thing. When I talk about balance, I don't talk about being equal. Because sometimes having balance means you've got to bust your butt for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks to ramp things up, and then you could take some time off. So it doesn't have to be, you could take care of your health, your wealth, and all that stuff in one day. But if you keep yourself in check, that you can create that balance over a period of time, maybe over a quarter as opposed to a day, then I think you'd stay in really good health. I think you can have great relationship, and you can take the time to learn. You can have wonderful spiritual experiences by connecting with whatever your source of God is. And so I think it's really important to say, I can have the balance in my life. Now how can I? And putting together a plan in place that you can then execute and follow a path.